The U.S. government is split into 3 separate branches, and that split is the whole point. The founders divided power into 3 parts on purpose, so that no single part could ever become too powerful. On the civics test, that exact reasoning is an accepted answer. So one part does not become too powerful, also phrased as separation of powers or checks and balances. Each branch has its own job, and no branch holds all the power. Keep that reason in your head as we name all 3. The 3 branches are the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. That's the formal answer. You can also name them as Congress, the President, and the courts, and the official test bank accepts both wordings as fully correct. Think of a 3-legged stool. Take away any one leg, and the whole thing falls over. 3 parts, built to balance each other, working at the same time. That is the design of American government. 1 branch, 1 job. Memorize all 3 pairs. Legislative equals Congress, and Congress writes the laws. Ask what part of the government writes laws, and the answer is Congress, the legislative branch. Executive equals the president. The president is in charge of the executive branch, and the executive branch carries out and enforces the laws. Judicial equals the courts. The judicial branch reviews and explains the laws and decides if a law goes against the Constitution, and one part of it is the Supreme Court. Learn these 3 pairings, and you've answered several real test questions at once. Writes, carries out, reviews. Here's the trap that costs people this question. Many learners say the president makes the laws, and on the test, that is wrong. The truth, Congress writes and passes the laws. The president signs them into law, or vetoes them to say no. So who writes laws? Congress. Who signs bills into law? The president. Who vetoes bills? The president. Keep the writing job and the signing job in separate boxes in your mind, and you will not miss this one on test day. You now know the whole 3 branches answer. Here it is in 1 line. Legislative writes, executive carries out, judicial reviews, split 3 ways, so no one part rules alone. That is the complete, test-ready answer. Nothing about the 3 branches is being held back from you. The names are legislative, executive, judicial, or Congress, president, courts, and the why, so no one part becomes too powerful. You understand it. The next step is making it automatic, so it comes out fast even when a real officer is asking. Prove it to yourself before you move on. Cover the screen and out loud in your own words, name the 3 branches of government. Now answer 2 more. Which branch writes the laws, and which branch is the president in charge of? Compare with the lesson. Legislative, executive, judicial. Congress writes laws. The president leads the executive branch. If those came out instantly, you're ready to drill this branch set under pressure. If you paused, that pause is the gap the practice room closes.